Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another podcast. It's 6:34 in the morning at the time that I am recording this. I just finished watching the second episode of What If, which was the one about Tchalla being Starlord. Now, I'm just gonna be upfront about it. I think this episode was way better than the last episode in terms of scale, in terms of character usage. They were able to use so many more characters, and the narrative was very emotional and heartfelt, especially considering the fact that Chadwick Boseman, as we all know, passed away about a year ago, and these were like his last couple of recordings that he did were for this season, and this was the first of many, hopefully, iterations that we will be seeing him in or in future episodes. So yeah, let's get right into it. So essentially, this episode starts off with Tchalla being picked up by Yondu, and this was right after he had a conversation with his father, T'Chaka, about how he wanted to be an explorer. And T'Chaka was like, your destiny is with these people to lead these people. He was like, no, I feel like there's more to be seen out there, and that kind of opens up his arc of wanted to explore. And then he ended up being picked up by Yondu and the Ravagers. And there's like this cool little scene where Yondu was like, how could you pick up the wrong kid? And then the Ravagers, which I believe was one of them was actually Taserface, and the other one was voiced by Sean Gunn, and was literally Sean Gunn actually. Their reason for choosing the wrong person was he basically had 2 eyes, 2 ears, and a mouth, and that was just for a laugh. But after he said that, the cool thing was the reasoning was because they picked up an energy signature that was not really of this world. It was like out of this world, and it turns out that energy reading was from Wakanda, which was in hiding, and I don't think Yondu and them saw it. And yeah, essentially we pick up several years later in a parallel of the very first scene of the first Guardians of the Galaxy, where Starlord was, as T'Challa this time, was picking up the Power Stone from the Temple of the Power Stone, and we get who's that guy again? The guy with the eye, the metal eye. Basically, the guy where Peter Quill was like, Starlord, man. And then he was like, who? But this time, instead of saying who, he actually was like, oh my gosh, you're Starlord. And he fanboys over him. And then he was like so confused, because he was like, man, I know I'm supposed to fight you because Ronan's like the craziest dude in the galaxy. But, I'm a big fan. Like, I don't know if I should be kneeling. And it was just a funny scene overall. I think that scene was more fun than it was cringe, so I think that was interesting to see. And he even had a request towards T'Challa where he was like, man, like, if only I could join the Ravagers. And then after T'Challa knocks him out, T'Challa carries him out of the temple, because he's gonna recruit him basically. And essentially there was like a whole altercation. And that was the scene where we seen the trailer was like, oh, a Ravager never flies solo. And then we see, what's his name? We see Yondu there. And it turns out, like, over the course of the episode, we find out that the Ravagers have actually been reformed because of T'Challa. And everyone, like, T'Challa has this charisma that essentially turns, like people around him into, like, these pure beings, like everyone's all pure with good intentions. And even Thanos, like, spoiler alert, Thanos is actually in this episode as part of the Ravagers, and because T'Challa kind of convinced him that what he was doing was wrong, like, he's now a part of the Ravagers. And essentially the whole episode is him, there's this mission where he has to go to the Collector, and the Collector's now the new kind of big power in the universe now that the Mad Titan, just like stepped down, and there's a power vacuum. That's pretty much how they explained it. The Collector was kind of the main villain of this whole episode, and we have Nebula kind of bringing forth this mission. It's like, oh, we're gonna steal the I forgot what it was, like the seed of it was like, basically it's this artifact thing that can reform worlds, like terraform them and bring them back to life. And with the amount of units that they can sell this for, T'Challa can help, like, the whole galaxy, like multiple worlds, end hunger for them. And essentially, yeah, and that's pretty much how the episode went down. And what I really love about this episode is just its scope. Like, I could not see the limit to their writing. I wonder what the execs were thinking when they were like pitching for this episode. I wonder, it was like, man, like, you have no limits. Just use whatever character you want, except for the main cast of the Avengers, like everything on a cosmic level, except for Captain Marvel and the Kree and stuff, which we're missing. But everyone from Nebula, except for Gamora, actually, everyone from Nebula to Thanos to literally like everyone on a cosmic scale, collectors, Howard the Duck, and you know, they were able to incorporate all of that into one cohesive story of Starlord, you know, essentially finding this new landscape where he can explore, and this new family, and you know, also longing to return to Wakanda. And I think that they tied it up really well, and it was very emotional. Like, the episode was just emotional, and yeah, I think that overall the episode, I give the episode probably like 8 out of 10. It's pretty decent. It's pretty good. You know, if this is the scale that they're going for, I wonder what they're gonna be going for next. Like, it feels like they have so much in store, especially with the Guardians of the Multiverse. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Thank you for stopping by, and if you haven't seen the episode, watch it now. Honestly, you probably shouldn't even have listened to this if you haven't watched the episode. So yeah, thanks for watching or listening, guys, and please stay tuned. Thank you.